Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. We have the much awaited MISC Expanse Q&A. Let's dig into this. There's a lot of good stuff explaining a lot more and some interesting tidbits in there. First of all, if you are new to Star Citizen, welcome. What we have here is the MISC Expanse, which is a ship sold in concept, and when they sell a ship which is not flight ready, there are tons of questions people have. Why am I spending hundreds of dollars on this JPEG? What will it do for me? Is the question. And the devs basically take all the questions and they answer it for us. So let's dig in and see what the MISC Expanse is all about. So the most obvious question we all had, and a lot of you called this correctly, pat yourself on the back. What are the benefits of using the refinery ship compared to the station-based refinery? So if you and your friends are mining out there, why do you need your buddy in a refinery ship next to you? Why can't you just fly to a station? Well, they tell you right here that it's the most obvious benefit is that you have the refinery right next to you. You don't need to turn around, fly somewhere, land, come back. It's all there on the spot, meaning you get more space bucks per hour just by mining, refining, and then your refining guy can go and sell it. You're making your money right away. But also, another benefit is the refining process is planned to take less time than in a station. You guys called that correctly. That was the best guess. But here's an interesting tidbit. You will be in full control of the process. So this is surprising. Well, I guess shouldn't be surprised. But it's not going to be a set it and forget it system where you click on refine and then you go have coffee and you come back and the refinery's done. What I suspect this game mechanic is going to be like is much like mining. When you're mining for a rock, you have to adjust the power levels. You have to make sure you don't do things too high or explodes, or too low, nothing happens. I suspect there's going to be a similar mechanic in here where you have to fine-tune energy flow to get the refining process complete at the right level, I guess, or the right level of refinery, but not going to be something you can walk away from, which makes this a much more work-intensive game loop. You'll also be unaffected by the refinery station's occupation level. I did not consider that, but that is true because Quanta, the system where Star Citizen now takes consideration the amount of traffic in an area, if a particular space station has a lot of people using it and a lot of people are refining, when you go in there to refine, you're back of the line. It could take you 24 hours to get to your load. So having a ship like this, having a friend in an Expanse, or maybe you own one of them, is going to become more important. And especially once we get to a system like Pyro, where there might not be space stations around, you will need a refinery ship if you want to make money from all of this. So it's becoming this little ship over here, well, not so little. This ship over here is becoming, or has become, quite the essential little ship. I gotta stop calling it little ship. Anyway, let's continue. How long will refining take using the Expanse compared to a station-based refinery? Now, they don't give us the exact time, but the aim for it is to be a relatively fast, skill-based process. Again, it is not a set it and forget it process. Next question. Will the Expanse have safe storage for volatile ore? For example, if I put raw Quantanium into the Expanse, will it explode? So, Quantanium, for you new guys, is a very volatile material that has a certain lifespan to it. And if you have a lot of it in your ship and someone bumps you, you can explode. So, they're asking if you put this in your Expanse, will it save it? And the answer is no, it's not going to make a difference unless you are refining it. So if you're refining it, then it is okay. But you can't just store it and it not be volatile. Will there be a minigame for refining ore like we have other professions? And they don't call it a minigame. It is a game mechanic and a bit more complex. So yeah, that is a surprising, I don't want to be surprised. That is an interesting game mechanic. I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly it will be about. But it begins with getting the refinery sack from the other ship, tractoring it. There's a lot to do. This image right here kind of showing us the beginning steps. You're in the prospector, you drop your sack. I've been calling those saddlebags the whole time. Is that wrong? I thought it was a saddlebag. All right, it's a sack now. So anyway, these sacks are actually compressible. And as you can see in the prospector, there's another one there that's compressed, isn't full yet. But the prospector drops them. You tractor it in, you suck in all the contents of the sack, and you refine them and drop them into your containers. There's a lot happening in this entire process, more than I thought there would be, but this is adding some very work-intensive game loops, in my opinion. Moving on. Will we be able to begin refining and then store the Expanse via a subterminal without interrupting refining process? No, this is something you need to be hands-on with, as they mentioned above. What materials can the Expanse refine? Well, we know it can refine all the mining materials, but also metals and scrap. So, Drake Vulture and salvage coming in, again, you need this ship if you want to make good money from it. We'd also like to refine gases into fuel. All right, that is interesting to know, because now in systems where there's not much fuel, you need a Starfarer out there to, I guess, collect gases, and then you refine them in this baby right there, becoming a very, very important ship. Is it compatible with the Argo Mole, Greycat, and Drake Vulture? It has to be, because it's going to be refining their stuff. Will refining require consumables like fuel, catalyst, reagents? It will, definitely. The more things, more inputs you need, power, catalyst, and reagents. All right, kind of the same system as mining. I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen there if we can look at the mining game loops with all the different catalysts and mining heads and the systems we have there. They kind of not cut and paste, but make it similar for the refining process. Will the refineries require power from the ship to operate? Yes, thus increasing hydrogen consumption, fuel consumption. I think that's a no-brainer. Of course it will. Why does the Expanse have a single small shield? Well, just to piss you off mostly. But we don't have to look at the answer, because the answer is they don't want you simply going out there and thinking you can go tank pirates and just be happily floating around refining. You need your friends to come protect you. What they want to do is people to form fleets, a mining fleet. You want your miners, you want your refiners, and you want your hammerhead and the light fighters. You want everyone working together. That's what they're going for, but they don't want you going out solo or just you and one friend and being, well, you're kind of defenseless, but I mean, you can always run away. But they want you to bring in friends to come protect you. So small shield is what you get. Tough cookies. Could you explain in broad terms how the sack system works? Yes, you'll be familiar with sacks from the Prospector and Moles, where the storage units located on the side fill with ore as you mine. They expand, and once they're filled, they can be detached, and they can be picked up by other ships, as we see right over there. That is a very cool system. I look forward to seeing that in the game itself. So when it comes to piracy, that's going to be kind of cool. When you have a Cutlass Black with a tractor beam, you swoop in and you steal the... Oh, it's going to be awesome. There's so much more room for piracy now. Well, just don't pirate me. I mean, pirate other people. That's what I'm saying. When the Expanse receives ore via container, does it reuse same container when delivering the refined materials? Are the Expanse's 8 side bags detachable? Yes, they are. All this is not in the game yet, but basically what you see in this picture here is what they want you to do. Everything's detachable and everything is tractable and reusable. There is a word of caution though. Be careful though. The intake socket has a very weak connection and will not hold the sack in place during travel, meaning you have to be keeping still while you do this. All right. What is the total cargo capacity? It is 64, as we've seen there, with 8 pods compressed above them, given additional 64 SCUs. So again, much like in the Prospector, you see, let me scroll up there, you see how it's dropped its sacks over there, but there's more still hidden there, not hidden, but compressed, and they fill up as you fill them up. Nice system, and I think it's going to look very, very cool. Is the Expanse able to hold raw ore in waiting? And the answer is we plan you to allow store some of it directly in the reactor or in the attached sacks. However, it will not be refined until you do the process manually yourself. Is a system being planned to allow players to charge for ore processing? Yes, like we see the refueling system right now. And final question is this one. The brochure illustration shows pod landing in a 0G via tractor beam. Will this also work on a planet where gravity is a factor? The answer is obviously yes, you will be able to do that in gravity. You must, because there's also a refinery taking on the surface of planets, right? And that concludes the very, very interesting and informative Q&A on the Expanse. And I think it's pretty obvious this is becoming a very, very important ship. I wonder if there's going to be capital-sized refineries coming, much like there's a Prospector and an Orion, huh? I think it's coming. That's going to be a massive money maker. And with that, guys, let's wrap it up. If you enjoyed my video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like. I'd appreciate that. Your comments below are cool, and I'll catch you in the next one.